Welcome to Mission Evolution Radio Show with Gwilda Wiyaka, bringing together today's leading experts to uncover ever-deepening spiritual truths and the latest scientific developments in support of the evolution of humankind. For more information on Mission Evolution Radio with Gwilda Wiyaka, visit www.missionevolution.org. And now, here's the host of Mission Evolution, Miss Gwilda Wiyaka.
Are you who you think you are? Or is there much more to you than you think? What can we really become if we evolve into our soul self? For that matter, what is a soul self? Mission Evolution Radio TV show is coming to you around the world on the X-Zone Broadcast Network, xzbn.net. With us this hour to uncover deeper expressions of the self is Corina Angela Winn. Corina is the best-selling author of Transference, Connect to Your Soul Self. She's a speaker, teacher, facilitator, and researcher, as well as a visionary for the unified field consciousness, helping to bring health, healing, and science into the mainstream for our new world. Corina helps people elevate their consciousness, awareness, heal, and clear traumas to connect with their soul self. Her website, TrueTrineHealing.com. Corina, thanks for joining us on Mission Evolution.
Thank you so much for having me. Really appreciate it. Wonderful to be here.
It's going to be fun here. I think we have some stuff to play with.
Okay.
Let's start out with, tell us a little about your educational background.
Yeah. Oh, well, let's see. Way back when, no, I'm kidding. I started out at, being in the corporate world really, and being a business manager and, many years of the corporate world. And then all of a sudden things started shifting. And I got into massage and Reiki, and it just kind of expanded from there. And I loved it so much because I started seeing results when I was working with clients, and it just elevated from there. So
Okay, so I understand you're also a shamanic practitioner, yes?
I am. Yeah, I went to my first sweat lodge when I was 16, and that opened up a huge door, as you know. So
Where'd you study?
I studied with a Peruvian shaman. So did that, and just many, many years of self practice, but also a lot of amazing mentors along the way. Yeah, and just expanded from there. I'm just an insatiable learner. I want to learn how things evolve, how it works. So I kind of dive in with hands and feet and try to understand it, incorporate it in my life.
So how many forms did you learn of shamanism?
So there was dream time, there was deep dive healing. In the sweat lodge, I cleared out a lot of my own uh, inside my body. I had a lot of, healing dis-ease within my body, and started clearing that more and more. And I found instant results, and I thought, let's go in even deeper. And then went into dream time, lucid dreaming, and biolocation, all of those things. It just kind of expanded from there.
So which form is your favorite?
They're all my favorite. I don't think I have a favorite. I mean, I think it's just miraculous what we can do with our bodies in general. I mean, clearing out disease within the body, whatever we have um, that is ailing us. We are incredibly powerful beings. I mean, dream time is amazing. Lucid dreaming is just fantastic. But yeah, I like the healing realm. So.
So how do you see ancient practices as relative today?
I find it more and more it's being incorporated in our daily life, and I think it's fantastic. There's so much wisdom. There's so much healing modalities that can help us right here and right now. And I'm finding it more and more that people are really diving into um, different practices, but also, the ancient practices that are coming into view. And because they're result driven and things happen. It's like, huh, how did that happen? So yeah.
What do you see the ancient practices doing, like shamanism, doing that our modern practices do not?
I think they're just deeper. I mean, they're sacred. There's just that depth of sacred. Um, it just goes very deep, deeper than, yeah. I would just say deeper. It's hard to explain, but
So, what realm do most of the ancient practices work? I mean, our modern day practices tend to focus on the physical, and some on the emotional. But where do the ones you've studied work?
I think within the heart, I mean, just really focusing in on the heart and the body, the mechanics of the body, and what we can do to help facilitate our healing. I think, the mind is pretty much set aside, and it's really focusing in on the heart and the body and the movement of the body and how amazing that we truly are and what we can do to heal our bodies.
So it's mostly a physical healing.
I believe so. Yeah. I mean, and that's what I've really focused in on over the years. I've tried many. I think it's you kind of dive in and you see what resonates for you and what is easiest for you, and then kind of go on your path. But it's wonderful to try many, many different modalities to see what resonates and what, your path is. So.
How can you tell that you found a good source to teach you these modalities? Where do you
I
find it?
find it with ease. It's just with ease and grace, and then you have that deep passion, and then you see the results. So I think that really, for me, my experience has been that it just resonates. It resonates within my soul, and I just have that clear knowing of, yes, this is it.
So you mean the teacher? You get a feeling that the teacher is the right one for you?
Yeah, the teacher as well as, but inside, because we are our own best teacher, and whatever we are focused in on, and it just clicks. It's like that spark, like, that's it. So
How would you say that you've been changed since you left corporate America and went into the
yeah.
more esoteric forms?
Night and day, I guess. Yeah, changed dramatically. I mean, um, it just seems like a lifetime, many, many lifetimes ago. So just more aware, expanding, and more curious, and connecting with people on a deeper level. Just there's so many different facets of how you can change and how you can evolve from where you were.
When you were really immersed in corporate, um, if you were to be able to go back to your corporate self now and tell her something, what would it be?
Oh my goodness. Get out as fast as you can. Just kidding. Just kidding. There's so much more out there. Yeah, that's what I would say. There's just be wildly curious and just go for it. And there's just so much out there to explore. Yeah.
Your bio says you are a researcher. What
Mhm.
do you research?
Oh goodness, uh, everything and anything. So I worked in with IDD for uh, this company that I just loved so much, and took a deep dive into the intellectual disabilities, but mentally as well as physical. And I was doing art therapy, and it was just miraculous of different modalities that you can help utilize to expand and help others. And I just thought it was just so fascinating and mind blowing of what we can achieve and help with. So it was just, yeah, it was
So
really
what was
great.
the research?
So my research was, okay, I would have this plan, I would have this plan of attack, really. And I would go in and bring different materials and what they were gravitating towards and the colors and how they were putting together the project and their thinking ways. It was just fascinating. So I'd be taking notes and figuring out, what they were attracted to, what colors were they attracted to, were they were they thinking number wise, were certain sounds affecting them, was the light affecting them. So it was just a matter of just deep diving into um, what sensations and what they were attracted to.
They
um,
being your clients?
I was a teacher, so
Okay.
my students, and just really deep diving into their awareness. So it just brought the research in more so from my exercises within my writings. I would I would go back and review what I ascertained from my job, and I would go back and kind of connect the dots of what worked, what didn't work. So that's how I kind of utilized the research throughout these years. So that's what I've been doing.
So
Mm.
what were you teaching at the time? We're about out of time in this segment, but what
Oh,
were you
sorry.
teaching? That's okay.
Art therapy. So it was art
Okay.
therapy, and yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense with what you're saying. Yeah, and were you teaching children?
No, adults.
Adults.
Adults
Okay.
with IDD. Yeah.
Okay, great.
Mhm.
Well, it's time for that special moment when we take a commercial break. Karina and I will be back very shortly, so don't go away. This is Mission Evolution, www.missionevolution.org. Do you know your soul self? With us this hour discussing the soul self is the author of Transference. Connect to your soul self, Corina Angela Winn. Karina, what is the soul self?
The soul self. Let's see. Connecting into your soul self. A lot of people have done it and can continue to do it, and some have no idea what the soul self is. And soul self, I like to reflect upon it as just connecting in with yourself. And pretty soon it starts, so within is so without. You really connect deeply with yourself. You get to trust yourself. You get to know yourself better and better as you evolve. And pretty soon you'll discover that you're tapping into something much, much deeper.
As you evolve, what creates the evolution?
I think the consciousness. So you can do this through meditation, through walks, connecting with animals in a variety of different ways. Through my book, there's many, many exercises to go deeper and deeper and deeper to connect with your soul self. And I've been on this journey for a very long time. And I think for me, my tool was to go inward and to write and to really have that silence, that silent time for myself. And that's how I began to really discover something deeper and deeper within inside myself. And the curiosity kept me going. So I'm like, what is that? I would start meditating. I started meditating when I was in my early teens, and I just found such peace. And then I was like, I wanted to go deeper and get, what is that peace? Where does that come from? So it was always questioning, very, insatiable reader, but also that insatiable curiosity just kept me going because I was just wanting to learn more and more about myself. So.
Do you recommend journaling on this path?
Oh yes, absolutely. But also if it fits for you, that was one of my tools that I utilized from a very early age. I loved writing, and I loved, the pen to paper. I just felt the energy coming out of my pen and onto the paper. And it was a way to express myself. And journaling is a fantastic tool. And for those out there, that love to do it, they're just connected to it. And those that have not tried, maybe try it.
So is it something that you go back and read then later?
I sometimes do, yes. Actually, just recently, I've been going through, I have hundreds and hundreds of journals and very large notebooks. And I just started a couple days ago, going back many, many years. I was like, wow, okay, very interesting. Some people just throw them away. Some people keep them forever. It just depends upon what your preference is.
In hindsight, when you go back and reread what you have journaled, like you said, in the ancient past,
Mhm.
does it give you insight as to your process? Does it give you deeper insights as to something that was going on at the time that you may
Mhm.
not even have recognized, but then uh, uh, created your future?
100%. Absolutely. Yeah. I think, as we're journaling, we are, you know, receiving information unbeknownst to us that is projecting out into our future. And I believe that to be true because it's it's pretty interesting. So yes. Yes.
Well, that fits right back in with the storytelling tendencies of your shamanic practice. Yes.
Mhm. Yes.
Right.
Mhm.
Do you find that within the journaling that there's metaphors and things that you can then unpack and decode?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, it's fascinating. I mean, really, and I think any journaler that will go back and reread, maybe years past, and you were struggling with something, and then you got your aha moment, and then all of a sudden, years later, you're in your aha moment, creating that again, but in a different way, and breaking through faster and clearer. So, yeah, I find it just yeah, a wonderful tool.
Our whole lives are just one big story, aren't they?
Yeah, right. Yes.
So, where did you get your information regarding the soul self?
Well, let's see. Being on this path for a very long time, you know, some people call it channeling. I just call it I just open up and receive, and I feel like I'm just in this field of consciousness, and it's expanded, and I just can, some people call it claircognitive. There's just a knowing, a deep knowing. I hear, I can see, and it's all interwoven. It's all become one and merged. So when I write, I just sit and then it just comes right through and I
So,
start
is it like
writing.
like automatic writing?
It's automatic writing, and then you can call it I like to call it channel writing, same thing. But it's even beyond that. It's because it's all the senses. It's feeling, it's knowing, it's sensing, it's seeing, it's smelling. It's all interwoven as I write, if that makes sense.
So, is it spiritual information? Would you say?
Absolutely, yes. Yeah. There's
So,
Mhm.
in spirit, there's the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Mhm.
Okay. So, how can you tell that what you're tapped into is something that's beneficial and benevolent rather
Oh
than
yeah, absolutely.
malevolence?
I've questioned it and re-questioned it, and I go deep within my heart, and if it resonates and it feels really good, that's my sign. And then I always ask, there's always other questions that I ask, and I always ask for the highest good of light and love only. And I hear or I feel a sensation in my body, so then I know. So that's my sign to check in. So
Well, everyone's different, and what one person needs to hear and how they need to hear it is different than the next. So,
mhm.
what you're bringing through is this mostly just for you personally and people that may resonate with you, or do you think it's more general?
It's more general, it's universal, absolutely. Because even these entries, I mean, there's so vast and wide variety of different information. I mean, a variety of different topics. The exercises, there's 28 of them, and it's a variety. It's not just for one. It can be for all. So yeah.
Okay. So, I'll ask you again because I wasn't really clear on
Mhm.
what is the soul self.
The soul self. Let's see. It's connecting into the all. It's all of who you are, but also connecting into the universe, into the cosmos, into everything and other people. It's evolving into the soul, right? So it's connecting into your soul. So connecting within to connect without. So it's almost like a streamline of, information. You're connecting into yourself, into your soul self, and then you're sharing that out with other people, and then you're resonating and connecting with other people much easier. And it's almost like a flow. This is beautiful flow, a beautiful sense of yourself, but then a sense of other people because you're connecting with them on a different level.
How does it relate to a higher self?
Mhm. I think it can be the same for some people. Um, I like to think of it, or I just feel it, that it encompasses everything, if that makes sense. Yeah, higher self, you can connect into the higher self to bring in information, but the soul self is, going out in nature and in sitting and connecting with a tree. You're not connecting into your higher self to say, okay, I want to go and sit with this tree. You just connect with the tree. So I think it encompasses the all. Yeah.
So the higher self is part of the soul self?
I would, yes, yes. If you want to break it on down like that, yeah.
I'm just trying to make this make sense to me here.
Because everybody, I know it's funny, everybody has their own process of, processing information. So I just kind of go up and out, and it's all there. And that's the soul self.
So let me see if I understand this correctly. By
Mhm.
becoming more introspective and
Mhm.
going deeper and deeper within,
Mhm.
we can connect to that place that has access to the unified field.
Yeah, absolutely. Mhm.
Ah, okay, okay. And the higher self then is a different form of accessing information.
Yeah, but some people do connect in with the higher self, and they can see the all as well. So for me, a little different process, if you want to call it a process, but yes.
Is there a lot of damage, judgments, self-talk that gets between us and being able to connect to our soul self?
Absolutely. I mean, we sabotage ourselves all the time, right? And we doubt ourselves, and we let fear come in and play a part. We let the ego come in and play a part. Absolutely. And it's a dismantling of all those things, and to really, again, go back to center, go back to your source within, to evolve without. And yes, absolutely. I mean, we all can dip into that, but it's our choice to, right? So,
It sounds like it's kind of not just deep, but could possibly painful or uncomfortable work before
mhm.
you can shed who you aren't to become who you are.
100%, yes. Yeah, it is. I mean, it's not a cakewalk. I mean, it's not all unicorns and rainbows.
Oh,
It's deep, I know, darn it, but it's difficult sometimes. I mean, I've gone through some really, really hard times, and you have to go through it. You go through it. You're in it, you go through it, you get to the other side. It's like, oh, okay. Okay, now I can breathe, and then there's another hiccup, and there's another hiccup. But it's, as you continue on this path, I mean, it does get easier. It does get easier and easier because you are evolving.
well,
It's,
it's that time for us to take another station break. Corina and I will be back to continue our discussion. So stay right there. This is Mission Evolution, www.missionevolution.org. Is it possible to heal into a more authentic self? This is Mission Evolution, missionevolution.org. With us this hour is Corina Angela Winn, her website, tryinghealing.com. Corina, were talking in the last segment about how you sometimes, or probably most of the time, there's a lot of flotsam to move through before we can find our own authenticity or our soul self. What forms do those flotsam come in?
what form of what?
What all stands between us and accessing our soul self?
Well, I mean, I think our ego has a huge it comes in and, wants to take over the show, and feel that you can't do it, right? And the doubt and the mistrust and all of that. I think the buildup of our soul self is trusting, and trusting is the layers of trusting yourself deeply and honoring the steps that you have achieved and have overcome. I think is really important to acknowledge within ourselves and give ourselves that deep love and gratitude and honor. Yeah.
Ego is a word that's used a lot. So let's define it for us.
Oh gosh. Well, I define it as, it comes in and wants to detour you. You're on this trajectory and it wants to go this way because it feels, you know, that it's protecting you, right? And it is in some sense, but when you are evolving and wanting to go this way, you need to explore it and trust that exploration within inside yourself. And sometimes, many times I'd be like, okay, I can feel the ego coming in because it feels a little heavier and I don't feel as light as I did before. And then the worry and the doubt come in, and all of a sudden you're on the spiral going down. It doesn't feel good. So then I would know, like, okay, that is my ego. Let's shift it. And then I would shift and then start feeling better, feeling lighter. But then I would honor the ego, like, okay, thank you very much for sharing, and you can sit in the passenger seat while I drive. So I would be lighthearted about it, but notice and be aware of when it was coming in and how it was trying to protect me, but then deterring me at the same time. So it being aware again of just evolving from what you're noticing with inside yourself and how you're talking to yourself and the decisions that you're making on a day-to-day basis. So
So is ego kind of like composite of defense mechanisms from prior damage?
I think so, absolutely, because the ego comes in when you have a past experience or a past trauma, and it wants to protect you and not have you go through that again. But perhaps you're not going to have to go through that again, right? But if we shelter ourselves and contain ourselves within that, we'll never know.
A lot of people kind of define the ego as a false identity or something to build oneself up. How does
Yes,
that relate?
absolutely. And some people, are really big ego, right? And it's like, well, what is that? And you can feel it. I mean, you can feel when people walk into a room, let's say, and their ego is very large. You can feel it. It's a sense of perhaps insecurity, or are they really genuine? And then you have a conversation with them. It's like, sometimes it resonates, sometimes it doesn't. But also, too, it can be inflated, but then deflated too, because somebody can connect with you on a very beautiful level. And then it's like, it's like the mechanism, the walls come down, right? Yeah.
So the it sounds like the ego stands kind of between a person and who they are. Can a person,
Mhm.
in fact, I think I've seen it. They're convinced that that's who they are, the ego.
Yeah. Yes.
That's what they identify with.
Yes. Yes.
And it sounds like
Mhm.
it has its major limitations as far as being able to connect with your authentic self or your soul self.
Absolutely. Yeah.
How can you recognize if a lot of us don't even know we're coming from ego, how
Mhm.
can you recognize that that's where you are?
Mm. Again, going inside, is that true for you? Is that who you are? Is that your true self? Are you walking your talk? Are you talking your walk? Does that feel good? Are you treating other people the way that you think you're treating them? What is that feedback from other people? Are you being genuine? Are you being true to yourself and true to them? Are you treating them with love and compassion? And it's something to really question for yourself, of going within and really questioning who you truly are and how you're being in the world.
It sounds like it would take a certain amount of integrity
Mhm.
that ego doesn't necessarily have when you're in that place. So it's kind of like diametrically opposed. What are the sensations that you get when you're in ego and you want to kind of, or you try to get introspective? Is there a red flag that goes, I don't want to go there. I don't want to think about it. Something that
Yeah.
distracts you. Are those signs and symbols?
Yeah, absolutely. Monkey mind is one. I mean, monkey mind, going over and over and over, some questions or worrying about a certain issue or a situation that is evolved in your life and going, revisiting it over and over. That's ego. That's in ego. Um, and then the shift, it's the recognizing it, but then the shift to shift out of that, so being cognizant enough to be aware when you're in it and how you can evolve out and then get back on track. So
So, from your description of it, it sounds like most of us relate ego to ego rather than self to self.
hmm yeah.
Oh,
hmm
pretty interesting, isn't it? I mean, we're trained to do that, right?
yeah, and hopefully we'll be trained a different way.
Well,
it's
it's self training, isn't it?
it is, it really is, yeah.
So how can you tell what kind of healing would be the best to help you connect with your soul self? We've ascertained that there's damage,
hmm
okay, whether it's emotional or mental or physical. There's damage that stands between us and us.
yeah.
How do you recognize what it is and what modality to use?
Mhm. Well, trauma, let's say, that deep trauma, physical trauma, mental trauma. There's a variety of different ways, but going deep within the self of clearing it out. I mean, you can clear it by writing about it, talking about it, moving your body. If it's a physical ailment, let's say, or a physical trauma, moving through that, through the body, because the body registers everything, it remembers everything. So it's moving through it and going through it to heal it, and then getting to that place where you can feel that there's no residue. You can touch your shoulder, let's say, and be like, okay, is it still there? Just really connecting in with it. I've relieved a lot of trauma in my solar plex, and I would think of the event and I would go back there and my whole body would just be like this, right? And then working on it over and over again, I would come back to it and feel my body and there was nothing there. It's like, and that's when I realized it's gone. It's not there anymore. And then I would test myself, always testing myself. Like, okay, is it there? Okay, am I triggered? Is that feeling sensation there anymore? And no, it's not. So that's when you would know it would be cleared.
You mentioned trigger. Is being triggered first? I'll ask you what being triggered is,
Mhm.
and then I would ask, is that another guidepost as to where you aren't authentic?
Absolutely. So triggers can be with words, events, people, phrases, let's say a remembrance of a past trauma, that can trigger you and trigger your mind to go into monkey mind and thinking about it, thinking about it, thinking about it. It can be a trigger within your body, like you'll feel a body sensation, like a pain, let's say, that would be a trigger. Your heart starts fluttering, that's a trigger. So there's a variety of different triggers.
How about when we emotionally respond to a situation well out of proportion to what's going on in the present moment? Is that usually a trigger?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And again, so if you are triggered, that's a wonderful red flag for you to go in like, why am I triggered? What is it that I'm triggered about? XYZ, that person or that phrase or that word. Some words people, really get triggered by just one word. It's like, why does that word trigger me? What is it? And then you take a deep dive in, and it'll take you back, years and years and years ago of remembering somebody, called you that name, let's say, or whatever it is. And then it's like, okay, that's why I'm triggered. It's just that awareness of going back and remembering why, and recognizing the red flags, recognizing those triggers in order to go in within to clear it, because we don't want to be triggered, right?
It's
It's
no
not
fun.
fun.
So we're virtually out of time in this segment, but um, what about the people that can't really see clearly that they're being triggered? They are projecting it onto the outside world.
Mhm,
Okay, it can be your partner, your mate, whoever, and they're
mhm,
convinced it's about you, right? But obviously, from the outside, you can tell, oh, this person's triggered into something.
mhm. Yeah.
How can we? And this will probably have to go into the next segment, but how can we recognize that and shortstop it?
I think if they're aware and want to be aware and want to clear it, there has to be a yearning and a connection for that, for them to be, go through that door, and they need to
Well,
be
we're going to have to
open to
talk
that.
about the
Mhm.
door on the other side of the commercial break. But please stay with us as Corina and I continue to explore our multidimensional nature. This is Mission Evolution, www.missionevolution.org. Who are you, really? This is Mission Evolution, missionevolution.org. We're continuing our discussion with Corina Angela Winn. Her website, tryinghealing.com. Karina, from what our discussion, where we've been going in our discussion, it seems like most of us really don't know who we are. We're kind of a ball of defense mechanisms and past damage and ego and delusions. How can a person just even begin to recognize that so that they know there's someplace else to go?
I think there needs to be a wanting and a yearning to know yourself, to know thyself, right? I mean, if if we have no interest in certain things, we're not going to pursue it. I think evolving our consciousness, do we want to? Asking ourselves those questions. Do we want to change? Do we want to learn um, different modalities? Do we want to learn different subjects? Do we want to evolve as a human being? What is our core? I think it's really diving in deep. Do we want to change? Do we truly want to change? Do we want to better ourselves? Do we want to heal? Where do we want to go?
Does that have to kind of be balanced with the terror that we often feel about
Mm.
what's in there if I really look?
Absolutely. And that's, it is frightening sometimes, but I think when we honor ourselves that much, we're more willing to peel off the layers of ourself and really get to know ourselves. And I think, over time, just, from my own experience, I always knew there was something more, something different. What is that? Questioning myself over and over and over again to go deeper and to go deeper because I was curious. For those that are not curious, you could take it in a different area of, do I want to change? Do what do I want in my life? What do I want to create that's different? Am I happy? Am I happy? Am I receiving what I would like to in the world? And if you're not, that's when the shift starts to begin. It's like if everybody is, happy, 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 and has everything that they could possibly imagine, then fantastic. But the majority of us are not there. So it's the willingness to go within and start questioning of, who am I? Why am I here? What do I want to do? How do I want to evolve as a human being here? Do I want to make the world a better place? Do I want to help people? Do I want to be in service to this world, to other people?
And yet many of us sit back, watch TV, and decide what we want to purchase next. That's what we
Yeah, I
that's
mean,
scary. It's scary. So is there a soul self and you get there and you've arrived, that's your soul self, or does
oh
the
no.
soul self evolve?
That would be great. Push a button, we're there. Yeah.
Yeah.
This process is never ever ending, and I think that for me, I just find it fascinating because I learn about myself every day, every day, every day, every day, and I love that piece of it. So it's never ending, really. I mean, you're evolving every moment of the day, every second of the day.
Does there come a time when you've evolved enough that you've evolved into all that is rather than being an individual?
Mm. So I think the becoming of your soul self is fascinating work. I mean, but even then, you keep going, you keep going, you keep um, evolving into the becoming of you and sharing that with other people. And then within the sharing, you're helping other people do the same, but it's still the continuous process.
Well, we spoke of how a lot of people, their world is the ordinary reality world that everybody's kind of hooked into, the matrix, if you will.
Yeah.
Um, Watigo at his best. So when you start to really evolve into your soul self, can it also be alienating from the mainstream?
Sometimes, yes. I mean, it can be isolating sometimes, but that's when you're reaching out more and you're trusting more that people will um, come into your life, or you'll go into their life and then evolve from there and expand and not be so isolated. Be, truthfully, it is isolating sometimes, but that is part of the process because you're introspective, you're going within, and why are you triggered because you're isolated, so that's another realm to really explore. And then some decide, yeah, I don't like that so much, so I want to bring in more people into my world, into my life, and expand from there. So
Well, there's a push pull to life, and as we
mm,
change, that push pull changes.
mhm,
Okay.
yeah,
Um, so, is this process also sometimes do you find yourself shedding people that you were close to
mm,
before
yeah,
because you've become more of who you are and it doesn't resonate anymore
mhm.
with where you've been?
100%. Yeah. I mean, friends that you've had forever, all of a sudden you're not connecting, you're not speaking the same language, let's say, and it feels awkward, it feels different. And then you have to just let it go and decide upon yourself, is this truly the relationship that I am happiest in? And do they understand me? I mean, a deep understanding to the connection with other people is really important for me, especially. I mean, I love when I connect with people. It's fascinating, and it feels good. And then for the people that I don't connect with, yeah, you got to get to a point where you are willing to let it go and and release it. And if they are meant to be in your life, they will be in your life, and that's fantastic. But there has to be a letting go process because we do change. We change all the time, and I think there's beauty in that, but also it's being true to yourself. Of, do you want to hang on to what really doesn't resonate with you anymore? And that is part of evolving, and sometimes it is sad, and you need to let it go.
So it's that time of the show, Karina, when I get to ask you, what's your mission?
Mm. Oh boy, that's a big one. I love that question though. Thank you. You know, to help people as much as possible to evolve into their soul self, to connect within, to connect without, and harmonize, and yeah, just connect with other people, to be in service.
It's a good mission.
Mhm.
So, do is our ability to deeply connect with others limited by our ability to deeply connect with ourselves?
I don't think it's limited, but as we go deeper, I think our relationships become deeper. So as we go deeper within inside ourselves, we are knowing our truth. We're connecting with other people's truth. We're bringing that in. It's that vibration, that frequency that we're connecting into.
Um, so, what do you mean by transference? Transference is part of the title of your book. What do you mean by
Yeah,
transference?
transference, connecting to your soul self, but transference is energy. It's the flow of energy, of the transference of information, the transference of energy frequencies.
Okay.
Mhm.
And you're more able to do that if you do this introspective work and start to access who you are?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Yes. Because you're knowing thyself, you're knowing yourself on a deeper level. Mm.
Well, we're running towards the end, but I have another one for you. How do you see us as having the opportunity to evolve at this time as individuals and as a race?
I think we're all evolving, and I think our trajectory is so exciting, and I think more and more people are opening and expanding their consciousness and questioning and learning and inquisitive. And I think we're going in a fantastic direction.
There seems to be a lot of polarization, things going opposite directions right now. But
Mhm.
is that part of the healing process?
I believe so, absolutely, because you got to go through it. You see it right in front of you. Can't go around it. Can't jump over it. You got to go through it.
Who was it? Winston Churchill says, when you're going through hell, keep going.
Yeah, you don't want to backtrack. It'll take more time. You'll be in it longer.
A lot longer. So, again, we're about out of time. But what is your vision for the future should more people connect with their soul self?
Just to be opening, opening up, be curious, having that curious heart, that curious mind, and to really open up to your soul self because it's amazing.
It's
You're
an
amazing.
amazing way to go, huh?
Hmm.
And so, how can people get a hold of you?
They can go to my website, trinehealing.com, and all the information is there. So, yeah.
So you have information for all of it, huh?
Yes. And you can purchase my book, Transference, Connect to Your Soul Self, and on Amazon. And it's available paperback and ebook.
All right. Well, unfortunately, we are out of time. Karina, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Our guest this hour has been the author of Transference, Connect to Your Soul Self, Corina Angela Winn. To find out more about Karina, like she said, you can find her book there as well. Visit her website, trinehealing.com. This has been Mission Evolution with Gwilda Wiyaka. For more information or to enjoy past archived episodes, visit www.missionevolution.org. But please be sure to join me right here next time as this mission will continue, bringing information, resources, and support to a rapidly evolving world.